Hello there and welcome to this new project, and we will do this project within Qlik for the data science, where we will going to predict the future prices. So we will going to look at a data set in this, and within this data set we will going to see how different variables are interacting with each other. We will be exploring some graphs, we will be looking at some metrics, some KPIs, and then finally we will be seeing that how we can create a regression equation which is helpful in predicting the future prices or the future information. So here in this project I will going to use the Boston housing data set, which is a very popular machine learning data set having a lot of different variables which are impacting the house prices. So we will see how these variables are correlated with each other, how they are dispersed, how much they variate, or what is their average values, things like that. So there is a lot of good things we will going to do step by step, and then you will be seeing that how you can do a similar work in your project or with your data to explore your data. Finally, just a quick information that if you want to get an entire project, I am currently working on this. As I'm publishing this video, maybe in a day or two, I will be finalizing everything, which is much more than this particular video. So if you want to get an access to that, the link will be present in the description. So I would suggest go ahead and check about it, or just comment me about that link if it is not part of that. If I forget, let's say after a day or two, and then I can go ahead and publish that. So look forward for that, and let's go ahead and straight dive deep into the Qlik for a data science project. All right, so here I am on the Qlik cloud, so that even if you don't have Qlik, you can go ahead and use this. So if you have or if you don't have the account in the Qlik cloud, then you can go ahead and register. Since I already have an account, I can go ahead and click on login. So I have this username and password. I'll just go ahead and click login, and this will show me the very first page of the Qlik cloud version. So Qlik cloud, it's almost similar to the Qlik desktop with some little bit less functionalities, but it does the task. So the first thing within my work, what I'll do is I'll create a new app, and I have the option whether I can create an app or I can upload an app. So if you already have or if you want somebody else's app to be uploaded over here, you can do that. So I will give the name as Boston, create the app, and it will take few minutes to do all the configuration. As you can see, it is right now showing you setting up, and it's basically giving or doing all the backend settings in the Qlik cloud, and as I said, will take like a couple of seconds. So we'll just wait, and over here the message is loading app for the best performance. Sometimes it may take a little bit longer. Also, it depends on your internet connection as well. So as you can see, like took almost 5 or 6 seconds, and we have it, the version to, or we have the app here where we can add the files. So on the top you have this particular tab where it shows the name of the application data, the Boston app. Above there you have the data tab. Right now we are in data because it is highlighted in dark black. Then you have some grayed out analysis and grayed out story that will be enabled once you have the data uploaded in this. So let's go ahead and explore this. So first and foremost thing is making some changes into this particular application. So if you want to change the title leaderboards, I can change the title. Along with that, I can give the description. So I can say factors affecting house prices in Boston. All right. So let's go ahead and add the data. So I clicked over there, as you could see, and this will give me the options from where I want to load the data. and then I need to just make and establish a connection. So right now, as you can see, it's giving me the option where Excel, CSV, any Qlik data file or any web file I want to import. So I'll just go ahead, since it is in CSV, I will just click over here and I will go to the location where I have it, and I have Boston over here, and I'll just upload that, and it will take again few seconds to upload it. This is a data screen. If you have not followed my video, this will be new to you. So just to explain you, this screen allows you to decide what format it has. By default, it has identified delimited, so we'll go with that. Embedded names or no field names, so it has the name, so I will say embedded field names. Header size 0, 1. If I'd say 1, it will move to a next column, but right now I'm good. So all these are default settings. You can make the changes as you would like. If you want to make a comment, you can even make a comment, or if you want to remove the column, you can just check this, and that column will not be imported then into the Qlik Sense engine, right? So this way you will not have the data set. So having only the relevant columns really makes sense, and this gives you the flexibility over here, which is a very intuitive interface. You can either get the column inside it, or if you don't want, uncheck that. So since I want it, I will do that. Also, if I just clicked it over there, it will allow me to change it. So for example, CRIME may be the crime. So this is basically a crime per capita statistic, and it allows it basically one of the factors that affect the prices, because if the crime is high, obviously the price of that house will be low in that locality. So these are like different factors. Some of the factor I know, like for example NOx, it's a nitrogen oxide in that particular area based on the scale that they have. RM is basically the rooms in the house that they identified, the age of the property, and pupil teacher ratio, the tax information, and lower status population, African American population. So all these data points that they have collected, and yeah, you can basically go ahead and see all the how they are affecting the price. So MEDV is basically the median price of a household based on this or a house based on this these variables. So I can go ahead and change it to price. So since I did two changes, I changed the column name here, I changed the column name over here. You can do it for the rest of the ones as and when as you like, but I'll just go ahead and click on the data. But before I click on this, I'll just mention that you have the filters option as well, where you can specify the filters. For now, I just want the entire data. I'll click on the add data. So this will again take a couple of seconds, since the data set is very small, shouldn't take more time, and as it has imported and now creating the search index so that it can help us do all the relevant searches in the front end. And yeah, looks like everything is almost ready, so I can go ahead and click close. So the first screen that you get is get started with the insight. So that is something which Qlik generates. So if I just click on generate insight, it will create some charts and default graphics based on how it sees the data, and if it is useful, good. If you can go ahead and add to sheet. If it is not useful, we will just move on to create a new sheet altogether. So this basically shows the sum by age. Not sure if it is very relevant. Then it's basically text by the variable CHAS and age, then contribution of age and overall sum, and then the distribution chart for the overview of sum. But no, what I'm most interested in about the prices, from via different factors. So I'll just go ahead and would not select that. So one is the insights subtab, one is the selection subtab. Selection subtabs is the place where you have most of the filters or most of the columns present, and the good part is that they talk to each other. So if you know already Qlik Sense, you would be aware about it, but if you don't know, so think like for example, we have this crime, even if we go down, since it is assorted, the last one is basically the highest one. So if I click the value which is the highest for crime, it will be able to tell us, as you can see, it will be able to tell us what is the age. So age is pretty high. What is the African American people ratio over there? So very high, 396. Over there, lower status of population. That means the population which is like lower class population, lower, like they say, lower middle class or lower class, all that population, 17.21. That means it is high. That's what they recorded, where the crime is high. And then if I just scroll towards right, I should be able to see the price. As you can see, the price is somewhere in the middle, like 10.4. The lowest is 5. But if you see, the highest is going up till 50. So it's like relatively low price over there. Then again, the PT ratio is the pupil teacher ratio. So if your kids in that locality will have the 20 as a pupil teacher ratio, for example, for 20 people you will have 1 teacher in that ratio. So number of rooms, 6.9, like almost 7 rooms. So that looks like a good property, a big property. For that, the price is pretty low, what I could see from the data, probably because the crime which we saw or which we selected is high. So this way also you can explore your data set, because it talks to each other, the data points talks to each other, and you can just select and see the values which are highlighted in white is basically the values which are related to this data point. Values which are in gray, dark gray, is something which is not related to it. So it shows you both the side of the story, that is related and not related. And one of the beauty why I sometimes love QlikSense or QlikView. And then you have these light gray, which says that you have the option where you can go ahead and select these values. So if I select that, the respective values will change accordingly. Alright, so what I can do is the one sheet that has already been created, I will just go ahead and create a new sheet. I'll give a new sheet just to understand data distribution, and I'll just click over there and click on edit. And here I am in the edit mode, and in the edit mode on the top, in the far left, you have the fields, master items, the charts. And the chart for data distribution I just want to explore is the histogram. And if I click on add field, it will ask me, okay, which field you want. Let's say I want to evaluate the rooms data set, basically, or the room variable. So right now you just get 6.6, 6.8, 6 and 7. It's because I have done some selection in the front end. So I'll just click on done, and I will remove the crime from the selections over here, and you will see the distribution will be changed, as you can see it over here in the front end. So just to make the edit, I will go in the back end. So that's how the distribution of data looks like, sort of a normal distribution with bit of a left skewed. But overall, the rooms that are having the higher availability is 6 rooms, and in this between 6 to 7. So these are the rooms which are of higher availability. So that's what the data we can get or understand from the distribution. Now let's go ahead and drag another distribution chart. And over here, let's go ahead and click on the field, and let's say we want to see the nitrogen into the population in the area. So again, it's more left skewed. The concentration is more on the left side, and we see that the data that we have collected is mostly having the lower side of the nitrogen oxide, NOx, if I'm interpreting it correctly. Similarly, what you can do is you can create one more. So what I feel is room will have a good impact, but nitrogen oxide or nitrogen, having a nitrogen into the environment from the pollution perspective, I think looks like from this data will not have a lot of impact. And we can see this with the help of the correlation as well. So 2-3 factors will stable or basically solidify our assumption. And then prices, one of the important factor, how the prices are. So if you see, the prices are a bit right skewed, but most of the prices are in this area. So from $10,000 to $30,000, most of the houses are present over there. Then some more houses anywhere between $50,000 and more than $50,000. So this is something which is giving you an idea that in the data that we have, or the locality in which you are doing the data analysis, where in which price range most of the houses are present. So if you are a real estate agent or into the real estate business, this basically helps you understand what sort of higher customer or higher number of customer you will be having. So for example, in this area you will be serving the higher number of customer, that's like almost 80 to 90% of the area. So maybe your focus area would be this much, so that you would look for those customer which are in having the budget in the range of $10,000 to $40,000. All right, afterwards you can create one more histogram, and for your exercise what you can do is simply select the African American population, or what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and select it, and you can just repeat this along with me, and clearly indicates that it's a very, very right skewed distribution, and it clearly indicates that mostly they are concentrated over one single place, which is 400. So it gives me an indication that these people, the African American people, loves to live in a community, and that's why this frequency is really high. So that means wherever we have collected the data, most of the time it represents that they are in the high frequency or the higher number count. All right, so this is the first part of our exploration. What I'll do is I can go ahead and create a new sheet, and now let's see the interaction of the variable with each other. So I will just say interaction and click on the sheet. To understand the interaction, one of the amazing chart that you have is the scatter plot. So the scatter plot helps us understand how two variables are related to each other. So dimension is something, for now I'll just select something which does not have the null value, so maybe the price. Add the measure. So first measure that I can probably take is maybe, let's say, the age, and I will take average. That is my advice if you are creating a scatter chart, but it all depends on your subject matter expertise on the columns or the variables that you have. And I'll click on the add measure. The measure is basically the price. So we want to understand the how different factors impacts the price, and you can see that age have some negative impact on the price. So as the age is increasing, the price is decreasing, right? So you can have you can basically understand from here. In some cases there are an outliers over here. General trend is like downward over like this, but there are some outliers, maybe because of the community, maybe because of the number of rooms, and so on and so forth. So it's again another matter that or another question for a story, that why in some cases the price of the houses are high. And that's something, suppose your management is asking, you can put together a story by just looking at these data points and explore them and see why the age, why the price is high even after the age is pretty high. All right, so that's one interaction we saw. Another interaction that we can see is where is the scatter chart? Scatter chart is here. Another interaction that we can have on the price is, so price and crime, and the average crime rate and average price. So my assumption is that it should be negative, because as the crime is increasing, the price should decrease. So let's go ahead and select price, average price, and let's see this. All right, so we have this price over here, and as you can see, the price is decreasing as the crime is increasing, right? So this basically goes with our assumption, but most of these, as you can see, are aggregated over here. So the prices that they have collected is mostly around the places where the crime is low, but even after that, there are places where the crime rate is high. And as you can see, the value of these house prices is well below the average. All right. The next is we can take another scatter plot and explore the price by looking at so we have already looked at the age, but now let's look at the room, the average room that is available for a given price. Ideally it should be positive, and you know why. So yes, as you can see, it's a very straightforward positive correlation, very strong correlation between these two, and from the data point it is clearly available. And as you know, the more number of rooms, the higher will be the price. So it's a no-brainer. Scatter plot, one more scatter plot, add dimension. Let's add the price as our data points over here. At the measure, so let's look at the pupil teacher ratio. Let's say from the family perspective, if you are showing, or if you are having a dashboard that is very family driven, this is something you would like to show them. So pupil teacher ratio, and then the price. All right, and if you see, the pupil teacher ratio is increasing, the price is decreasing. So that means people really wants to live at the location. That means this particular part where the pupil teacher ratio is healthy. If it is going from this point to anywhere near towards 20, the price is going significantly down. So you can look at that and basically suggest where a person should buy a flat, buy a house or a flat. So this is how you basically do the interaction. And if you see, it looks like a very beautiful and very explanatory slide or a sheet which talks about the impact of the different factors on price. Now let's go ahead and create one more sheet, and in this sheet, oops, I did not give the name. So what I can do is I can just come over here, click here, and give the name as let's say correlation. All right, so correlation. So we will do and identify the correlation, and we will take the KPI because this will be a number, right? So, and I will just keep it like this, and I need to click on add measure, and I will go into the expression editor, because this will be helpful to explain you easily how you can. So correl is the function, correl, correlation. As you can see, what it needs is basically the two value 1 expression and value 2 expression as a default one, along with the set analysis, which we are not doing it right now. So we want to see the correlation between the number of rooms and the price. As you could see, that it was a positive correlation. So again, we are reestablishing the fact. So we are saying price and RM, and I press the tab to select the value which was coming as a drop down, in case if you are curious. If I click apply, 0.7, that means the correlation is high. So if you don't know about correlation, by default it's a Pearson correlation coefficient, and what it does is basically or a Spearman, if not Pearson, I guess I was telling it incorrect, Spearman if I'm not wrong. Correlation is basically between -1 to +1. -1 indicates perfect negative correlation, and +1 indicates perfect correlation. Value, if it is near to 0, it is a that means the correlation is not present. But generally it is said that if it is like anywhere between above 0.5, so here in this case 0.7, which is closer to +1, that means it has a positive correlation, and we saw it in the chart as well. So we can change the name over here by expanding this, and we will say price versus, or maybe versus, the rooms. All right, just click outside and you have price versus room KPI. Now let's take another one and add measure FX. Again, let's see the correl function and provide another variable, which is crime. Press tab, price. I pressed it quickly, price, and apply. Negative correlation, as you could see or observe, there was a negative correlation, but if you see, it is little weak negative correlation because it is lower than -0.5. So, but yeah, a negative correlation is apparent. So we can say the price versus crime, CRIME. Let's go ahead and create another variable. Where are you? KPI here. Ooh, okay, it's quite a big one. And expand, remove that level of expansion, add the measure. So you can click over here, or you can click over here and then click on FX, corral, and then say the effect of NOx. So price NOx, as you can see, clearly indicates that it is a field, but you have a lot of different functions as well. So NOx. Ideally, what I could observe is a weak correlation from the scatter chart, but now let's see in a good quantifiable way how weak it is. So I click on apply, and -0.43. So that means yes, as I said, even in the case of this, that that there is a negative correlation, but it is weak, and over here also it is a negative correlation, but it is a weak correlation because it is less than -0.5. all right, so with this you can experiment with the rest of the variable. So what I suggest is you can look at, for example, if I just go into the expression editor, and you have a lot of different fields, like for example lower status and then price, correlation between these two, people teacher ratio and price, these two, tax and the price, these two, or maybe just see the correlation between all and see how well they are positively or negatively correlated. So once you have done that, one of the final thing is how to predict the prices. So your prediction should come basically from those variables which are highly correlated, but with a caution that sometimes they tend to inflate the results or deflate based on the correlation that it has, and that should not be the case. It should be an independent variable. Correlation is fine, but causation should not be there. If you want to know more the difference between correlation and causation, then you can go ahead and just check on the Google. I think you will find a lot of good tutorial about it, and which basically talks about the correlation and causation. Ideally correlation should be present, but causation should not be, and how to differentiate that you will also find that. So price versus rooms, and I'll just take KPI for this, and for this KPI I will click on add measure and FX. So generally what I've seen, or let me just close you and just to tell you a little bit in context. So I'll go to my interaction sheet, and over here, since I am interested in a highly correlated value, so this is the chart which is giving me an indication that this is a highly correlated positively and this is a negative. So this positive correlation indicates that as the number of rooms are increasing, what will be the price. So suppose if your client is asking, oh fine, I'll go ahead and take a 5-room set, can you tell me what will be the price? So either you can come over here and tell it, or you can have the proper prediction or the proper number with the help of the linear equation. So it's a line, so we will have to figure it out, the equation of line. And over here in the correlation, add measure, go into the expression. So the function that we will going to use is linest b, which is an intercept, and m, which is the slope. So first is slope. Within that we need to specify the expression, the y value expression and x value expression for the calculation of slope. And so our y value which we need to predict is basically the price with room rm, and multiply it by the number of rooms, so maybe 5, right, plus linest intercept, and here we need to provide the intercept for these same variables rm. All right, click. So right now 5 is fixed. I will tell you how you can make it a variable. Click apply. So 10.84 is your predicted price. So this is $10,000. 840 should be what you basically said is the expected price that you should have for number of 5 rooms that you are having. So if I say predictive price, this is what your predictive price is. Now what you can do is, instead of changing the calculation, you can come over here, click on the variable and create new, and say number of rooms. 5 is your default, and just click on create new. So I believe number of rooms should be created. Click close and come over here and just say number of room and put it in a bracket, so that, because I have given a space. Now the calculation is okay. If I click apply, nothing will change, but what I'll do is I will just go ahead and click on the variable and edit it to say the 8 over there, and click close. The value will be changed accordingly. Now since QlikSense does not have the input box, you need to figure it, you need not figure out, but you need to install the input box component, which has the slider, the drop down, as well as input box. I think there is a video altogether which I will just try to find and put it there, that how to install the extension. And this way what you will have is the predicted price, and you will give that input box or a drop down to an end user which they can select, and it will be a good front end application for your end user to select it. So that's mainly I wanted to talk about the predictive price, the final component, which is predictive price. But as you know, I'm working on this and working to create a good full-fledged solution, so that in one pager everybody can know what are the different prices, how the prices are getting impacted, and then finally what will be the predictive price. I'm trying to do is create a multiple linear regression model which does not just take one single variable but the multiple variables, and then tells us based on the multiple variables impact how you can what will be the price that you expected to pay, or one expected to pay. So that's about it. You let me know how you feel about this particular small mini project for the data exploration and predicting the prices, and I hope you have learned a lot. And yeah, I'll meet you in the new project or a new video to share my learning with you. Till then, thank you so much, and please comment and share this video with your friends and colleagues.